But you could definitely benefit big from it, but you can also lose big from it.
Did you ever been to like group when you may have a problem and you have to sit in a circle?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like I'm doing with all you people right now. Just email me, Jimmy@DirtBikeTest, complain, bitch, gripe, whatever you want. And I'll read it on this show. I'm not afraid.
I always brought a lever or two. I knew better riding with you.
Live from Pahrump, Nevada, the Valley of the Dirt People, it's Tech Talk, Taco Tuesday, with your host, Jimmy Lewis.
And I turn the sound on. One of these microphones is bad. I better put my headphones on so I can check them. Welcome, everybody, to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. This is episode number 274. This is the show where we talk about... Oh, am I stepping on it? Or are my chair's on it? Show where we talk about motorcycle-related products. I am luckily joined by a good friend of mine, my co-host tonight, none other than 11-time Baja 1000 winner, Johnny Campbell.
Hey.
Johnny Campbell, welcome to the show. Look, I got to line you up on the guest camera there. Oh, we didn't adjust the cameras, but it doesn't matter. That way I won't have to switch them too much. So this is the show where we talk about motorcycle-related products. Sometimes we talk about racing, especially when I have a racer in here. But usually we try to help you out when you stumble with a problem or just are curious about asking a question. You put it up in the chat. We have a live chat going on YouTube and on Facebook. We see it. And C.A. Smithers says, hell yeah. And he has a couple beers cheering. So beers cheersing. So I'll cheers you with my bubbly, bro. Awesome. Thank you very much. I'll watch. I know I can do it like this with the emergency speaker right out the jaws of, I can't move that because other stuff's going on. Okay. Jeremy Franklin says, howdy. And this is a very interactive show. We don't really have that many segments, although we do have a segment where brought to you by Fuck You Racing, where if you pay me money, I will not read the volume's a little low. Thank you. I'm going to run it up a little bit. Is that better? It sounds better in the microphones. Maybe you're not close enough to yours. Let's say hi, Johnny.
Check.
Okay, there we go. That was high. Okay, so in this segment, if you your volume's up all the way. So my volume was 2, but there's buttons that push around here. I think it got better. Let us know how the sound is. There's a little bit of a delay too, by the way, because in case I say a bad word, then I can hit the beep button like this. Oh. that's a quiet sound. So the segment where we don't read a segment out of Jerry's book. You should buy this book if you want to have nightmares. It's awesome. It's poetry written by a madman. Jerry comes on the show every once in a while, and if you send us money, then US dollars, by the way, none of that fake stuff. If you send that to us, then we will not read a segment out of that book at the end of the show in this voice. Where'd it go? You see a microphone? Oh, there it is right there. Yeah. We won't read it in this voice. It helps with it. So, okay. Sounds good. Anyhow, thanks everybody for joining in. Of course, this show would not be possible out a few of our sponsors. You want to guess who my sponsors are?
Who, me?
Yeah, you can't say it.
I can't even say those words.
Okay, it's Yamaha. Johnny's fully Honda. Johnny is so Honda that, he's just Honda. He's been Honda since day one, pretty much.
Since day one, since 9 years old.
9 years old. Actually, does that motor on the wall over there look familiar? I'm going to shoot over there. See that motor up in the corner? Does that thing look familiar?
That was my first CR80, 1980 CR80 engine right there.
Yeah, Johnny left it in my backyard at my house in California. This is a true story. He left it in my backyard. He brought that, and did you bring an XR75 too?
I think there was a 75 or an 80.
Yeah, XR80, something like that. And because I had extra room. Well, you lived at my house for a little while.
Yeah, so you collected some of my junk.
Yeah, so some of your junk ended up at my house, and it just sat out there. And I'm like, I got to do something with this thing because it was just it just kept getting pushed farther and farther along the side of the house back in the corner. There's still 3 or 4 XR100s over there, and some KX80 frames, and I have a KX500 swing arm off of a Danny Hamill Baja 1000 bike. It's really trick because they encapsulated all the spacers, but it bent, because Danny could bend those things.
Yeah.
Anyways, I got some trick stuff on the side of my house. That was there. And then we started building, hey, we're going to build a set. And so there it is. If you're watching on the YouTubes, you're watching this as a video, you're seeing a CR80 engine that was Johnny Campbell, little Johnny and Jamie Campbell's little race bike, I'm sure.
It was something. It was something, that's for sure.
So the sound quality is exceptional tonight, says Ace. That's good. That's better than usual. Actually, usually the sound doesn't even work. We make mistakes here. So, A-Ride Moto says, XR100, best bike ever. Well, those are 80s. And although I do have the best XR100 in the world, it's up on the wall in the shop. So that one got second place in the 250 class in the Baja 500.
Yeah, 1998.
98. It was my tryout to get to ride on the A team.
Yeah.
Which really pissed off all the guys that were on the B team. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
So, high literature for dirt bike riders. That's right. So, okay, everybody, if you're on the Instagrams right now, I have to hang up on you because you're tying up my phone. I have to send a text message to somebody. We will... oh boy, Mike Hubert put it up. Thank you, Mike. He put it up in the chat where you can buy Jerry's book. That's super awesome. He actually has 3. And I think this is the first one, and the other one's in my shop because every once in a while I need to, when a motorcycle's pissing me off, I just go pick up that book and I read an excerpt, and then I'm completely confused and I forget about what the motorcycle did to me. So, what are you doing out here? What are you doing in Pahrump, Nevada, Johnny?
You know what? There's a big motorcycle race out of Vegas this weekend called the Mint 400. So we're down here tuning in the shop and getting things ready to go. We were out testing today and got the race bike kind of finalized, and Preston Campbell's going to race with his nephew Nolan Cate, and that's a big deal, Rick, because Preston's raced and won with Braybeck the last couple of times. Braybeck. This.
Oh, Ricky, that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Okay, I remember him. I don't even have his hat on the floor anymore.
He might be behind you on his poster there.
Poster? Oh, that guy. Yeah. How quickly I forget.
And so Ricky's going to race with my brother in a Talon this year in the UTV Pro class. So he's going full Raceco, American Honda sponsored, backed UTV, and in the Talon, and then so we're bringing up the young guy Nolan that was supposed to be here doing the monologue, but he's
scared.
Yeah, he's hiding over at the other house.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's scared. I raced with Jamie Campbell.
You did on that Super XR,
on the XR 100, the Fab Master. Yeah, he's a fabrication master. And when we decided to ride an XR 100, we'd been racing them just like in backyards and stuff, and so we kind of knew where to reinforce the frame. But my welding is pretty suspect. and he was working just down the street in Costa Mesa at the time at Penhall's fab shop. And so hey, Jamie, what do you think about this? And if you go look at that bike, I mean, we've all seen Works bikes, and especially from the steel framed era of Works bikes, you look at this bike, and if you know what you're looking at, you go, wow. Because, I mean, we had these gussets and these plates that we built, and the swing arm is re-engineered essentially.
Yeah,
It looks, it's funny because it looks really stock, like back then you were supposed to do with the race bike.
Yeah.
But I always said it was a 1/6 replica of the XR600 that you guys were racing
Yeah.
at the time. Twin pipes.
Yeah, we made Twin Piper.
Twin Piper, yeah.
Fabbed that up, and the
The
headlights.
headlight, the framed headlight. And
Replica headlights.
We couldn't get the Super Oscars, so we had some, what do we have? They were smaller, but they were actually pretty good. I mean, the bike didn't go very fast. I think it went 50 miles. 55 miles an hour.
55 miles an hour.
I had some really good specs on that particular bike because I call it Polanski my results. You know what I mean? Grant loves that, by the way. So we were the only vehicle that averaged better than half of our top speed. I think that's how to say it. So our top speed was like 55 and we averaged like 33 miles an hour. So I think the only vehicle in the entire race that probably averaged better than half of their top speed. We had less horsepower than any vehicle in that entire race by a substantial margin.
Yeah. Yep.
And there was one other interesting fact that way less suspension travel than any other vehicle.
Although there was some works like shock on that thing.
It's shock. It was, at the time they were working on like whatever the next XR80 was going to be. Like, I think it was when they're probably, whatever the evolution to the CRF thing. Cause they start way early. It might've been a little early for that, but they had a works shock that was just a little bit longer and had a remote reservoir and it was, Showa built this thing. It was really trick. So it did have a work shock, and then we put shortened CR80 front forks on it so we could run the disc brake mostly.
Yeah.
But that was, I couldn't believe how much fun that was to ride that bike. When we were pre-running, we were just pre-running on stock XR100s. You had to fight to get the guy off the 100 because the other guys we were riding either an XR600, like a KTM 400 as a pre-runner bike.
Yeah.
We were just learning the course. We're all kind of switching around. And I thought it was going to be just horrible to ride. And even in just like back then, the rollers that were, they're not hoops like today, but they were just rollers and stuff like that. On that bike, you could sometimes double them, but you could roll, and the ruts were just deep enough where it wasn't a problem. That was really good times.
I think it was a really good era to do that as well, because now I think you'd get swallowed up and lost in the terrain down there.
I could just your handlebars might be scraping on the side of the ruts right now.
You would.
That's how bad it really is. So somebody else sent me I can't find the next let's see. So Jamie, I got that one, and there's a KTM 500. Getting back into riding. Okay, so I got to find this other guy that sent me another one, a Rooster Endo. Maybe I could search it. We'll see what happens here. Okay, so you guys are doing the Mint. Tell everybody if you're in the area, where would you go to see things with the Mint?
Yeah, the Mint 400 is based out of Primm, Nevada, right behind the Buffalo Bills Hotel there. There's that short course, but they have like a midway there where there's like a spectating, some grandstands, a lot of stuff going on there, some vendors, and they get quite a few spectators out there, and there is quite an entry list. I know last time I looked a few days ago, it was well over 500 vehicles total for the weekend, so that's pretty impressive. And if you want to go downtown to Fremont Street, this Thursday, all the off-road expos happening. All the vendors are lined up on Fremont Street, and it's pretty good time because there's a lot going on. Of course, there's a traditional locals.
Okay, yeah, just regular tourists that are coming in,
hanging out. Fremont's always excited, and then. yeah, then the off-road expo is pretty rad because there's just tons of people and things going on, a lot of good products, and all your favorite companies are there. So you can go down and check it out.
Yeah. Get some I don't know, the radio companies are there, the off-road tires are companies there, rims, what else they got there? All kinds of stuff.
Tires and shocks and, all the vendors that participate, it's everything.
Yeah.
You got lights, you got tires, you got shocks.
Got all the things. So, okay, I think I found one of my videos, one of my things. I got to move this guy over into here. So you're going to pop up. You're going to see the group of thugs that want to beat me up if their buddy doesn't win Rooster Endo. And then you might get a glimpse of today's Rooster Endo thing if you're watching the show, but don't blame me. I'm just trying to put this thing together. Okay. So, that's going on. Our monologue guy isn't here. There's a spot sitting for him right over there. Here's his spot right there, and he's not here because I was feeling kind of patriotic when I heard he was going to drop a monologue on us. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the screen where it shows our chat, the questions. Okay, we got some questions coming up. Is the volume very low? No, your volume's really low. I think I keep bumping it a little bit, and we're going to make sure we get all the questions. What day is Preston racing?
Yeah, the motorcycles go off Saturday morning, 7 a.m. So, and then at the same time, or they start a little bit later, the unlimited vehicle races, exact same time. So there's two separate courses down there. The bike course runs inside of the car loop. So they only intermix a little bit on a speed control sections, but they keep it separate for safety and
smartest
stuff.
Thing ever.
Yeah, it's really good, especially considering this area. It's not like you have a 400-mile course or anything. It's like you have laps. So you can't mix those guys up. It's way too risky. So.
Right, Trick. I'm still surprised they're doing it at the score races. And even like in Vegas to Reno, they just don't have a choice. There's certain places where they don't have a choice, but they try to start vehicles ahead. But interacting bikes and motorcycles don't mix on the same course. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Patrick Terahan says, oh, that's right. I forgot to tell you how to. Oh, so typically the rules of being a guest or a co-host in the show is sometimes you have to read the questions, and I try to point my cursor at it because then it doesn't sound like I'm talking all the time, which is kind of what I do. But I'm trying to get better. By the way, tonight's co-host guest Johnny Campbell from JCR Honda, one of the best mentors any racer could have. It's proven. Proven. Absolutely proven. Okay, what does Victor say?
Victor, where's Victor?
Oh, no, sorry, Patrick.
Patrick, he says, hi, guys from Quebec. I'm also a Dakar guy. I know Patrick. I've met him. He's done some Honda projects before, like with the CRF 300.
Yep.
Might have been a 250 back then. I can't remember, but
yeah,
he did.
And he's also worked with the ASO organization over doing course, I think maybe opening car.
Oh, really?
Opening car or something like that.
I didn't know. But yeah, he's a super nice guy and always around the rallies and super stoked. So thanks for watching, Patrick.
Victor, this guy. We have a question tonight from Victor.
Was the route messed up at the time you did it on the XR100 as today, or way less whoops and ruts?
Way less whoops and ruts. I think a trophy truck back then had 37-inch tires, or there wasn't even a trophy truck. It was just Class 8 or Class 1.
Yeah, it's probably
they didn't have trophy truck yet. Or maybe they just started it.
It was right around then because remember Ivan Stewart was racing the factory. Oh,
he was on the single seat center driving Toyota. Yeah, because we beat him, Johnny. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we beat him to the pause.
Beat him on a $6,000 motorcycle. Yeah.
Yeah.
They weren't happy about that.
And it was actually an XR600.
XR600, yeah.
Stock head pipe, you know.
It was stock displacement.
Yeah.
It was 600.
Yeah.
It had a good head on it.
Yeah.
And it had decent suspension. And
It was just easy to ride and happy. And
you could hold it wide open all night long. And that's all that mattered.
Yeah.
No detonation.
Yeah.
What does Jeremy Franklin say?
It was a great it was great watching Preston at the Dakar this year. He did very good. Preston had a very good introductory Dakar rally, exceptional. You know, he obviously had a great team around him and a lot of experience. He was able to train with Ricky and Skyler, Jimmy Lewis, yours truly over here.
Yeah, a little bit. I did like when that's like from a distance. I wasn't.
It's the instruction,
right.
So, but yeah, Preston did very good. He paid attention. He managed his bike. He managed his body well, and came in with a top 10
But he didn't do better than you did at your first Dakar, did he?
Well, guess what? At my Dakar, I got to follow a factory BMW racer.
No,
around.
you picked up a guy with like limp wrists when his bike tipped over and it was so heavy you couldn't pick it up. And then you had to stare down at me when they snapped smelling salts over me at the finish line with a broken collarbone. And I woke up and I'm like, oh, Johnny Campbell can't be all that bad, I guess. That was our Dakar. No, it was it was rough.
The look on your face on the plane was even rougher.
Just ask the questions, we'll answer them. It's getting better on the volume. I know we're working on it. I think there's a delay in the show, so we're trying to catch up with that. Guy named Marco Hendrickson.
Oh, we know Marco.
The mayor. He's the mayor of Mammoth right now.
Yeah.
But he's leaving.
You're leaving?
He might be gone. He might be someplace right now. Read the question.
It says, what can you tell me about fixing up a Honda Navi adventuring in Costa Rica on these little bikes is amazing. Just need to get some more horsepower out of these little things.
Do you know what the Navi is?
I've never ridden the Navi.
Is the Navi that little box? That like a ruckus? What is it, Marco? What is a Navi? Is it like it's not the XR 125?
The pizza bike.
The pizza getter. It's not one of those. Let us know what it is, because if it's something, I'll tell. I got some ideas. I've got some. Hey, from a guy who's raced what was it, Piaggio scooter up Pikes Peak, I know something about getting horsepower out of small displacement commuter things. Actually, my team caught me because I figured something out, because I was riding with some Italian guys and I wanted to beat them. And I figured something out, and my team looked at my bike. I didn't want them to look at the bike, because we all were drilling holes in the airbox cover, which is like kind of a thing to do, especially when you go in altitude. But I also asked them to change the jetting, and they said, "Oh no, this can't be good." But then I built this little thing where I could peel the tape off the holes.
Oh yeah,
because I had more air down at the bottom, but I needed it to run better on top at the top of the mountain. And so as I go up, I remember just there was 3 places on the mountain where I'd pull a little bit more tape and pull another piece of tape. I had like tear-offs on the airbox holes, and they found it. And sure enough, this kid, the fast kid, was much lighter than me at the time. The fast kid, all of a sudden, his bike had the tape tear-offs on his airbox too. And I'm like, oh, all my advantage.
Gone.
So hey, whether you're working on modding a scooter or you want more horsepower to your Honda 450X, we're the guys to ask. Patrick.
What do you vet Dakar racers think about the new era of Dakar? Point system, top speed, tire rules, engine rule.
You want me to start?
You can start. Go ahead.
Okay. Let me crack a beer here real quick. These guys are all a bunch of girls. They ride girl-sized motorcycles, and they have no idea what a long stage is like. And what else can I say? Yeah, they have all these electronic things, too many rules, and that's what I tell Ricky all the time. He doesn't. He just does. He tells me I don't know what I'm talking about, and he's right.
Yeah, I mean you're right, Patrick. The modern Dakar is quite evolved from the old.
That's what it is.
From the old Africa races and stuff that we did. The top speed thing is, if everybody listening here, they cap the speed at 98 miles an hour. It's like 160 kph. And, back we used to try to build horsepower and build top speed and try to get speed and an advantage. And so that's been kind of stripped away from us. And so now we have to, set the bike up to get there. Because really that's what matters, especially in today's Dakar, is getting to the top speed. It's not just being at the top speed and sustaining it. Like in the Africa days when you had like miles and miles and miles.
Well, that's why we had twin cylinder bikes. I mean, because there were places where a twin cylinder bike would make up 20 minutes on a single cylinder on a single stage, just because they were so fast. And so the organization, but it was, I think originally, before my time, it was just a factor of where they went. I mean, there was only certain ways to get between point A and point B, and you had to go a long ways distance because that's where the planes had to fly. That was the only place they were going to land, between those two spots, and they were just going the fastest way to get there. Some of it was on road, some of it's just across, like we call it chots or dry lakes or just open fields of sand.
Yeah.
And so there was places where, and there was known sections. If they went in this region, a twin cylinder bike was just going to yard anything. And then there was other areas where it was a little more technical when they get in some of the Sahel Desert or up in Morocco, where a single cylinder could kind of hold its own. But no matter what, you knew the twin cylinders were going to excel during this middle section on your way down to Senegal. So it was always twin cylinders winning.
Yeah.
Then as the organization saw the potential, they could get more entries with more single cylinders is what it really came down to. There was more single cylinder bikes there. It wasn't just these BMWs and Kajiva things, that were twin cylinders, Yamahas for sure. And a lot of those bikes, they weren't even really kind of for sale, but then they started seeing people showing up on XR, XL 600s, on, different kinds of other brands that were single cylinder bikes, Suzuki DRs and stuff. They're like, oh, wait, there's more of those out there. Maybe it's more accessible for people. So the race started evolving. They started trying to slow it down so that there was some sort of competition between the bikes. And then, of course, then we got in the era where they said the twin cylinder bikes were too dangerous, but the twin cylinder bikes didn't kill any more people than the single cylinder bikes did. But they just saw the writing on the wall, and then they started limiting, they started adding weight. I was there when they added a lot of weight to the original displacement of the twin cylinder. So our displacement went down to 900 cc's because we could drop 20 kilos. And it was like, well, this bike's way better.
Yeah.
That actually you don't need 1200 cc's of power. 900 was plenty.
Yeah.
And it was all just evolution of, the racing was getting a little bit more racy. It wasn't just survival.
Yeah.
And then, they started going, okay, no more twin cylinders. Then they started bringing the displacement down from the big displacement. Really, they went away from, hey, we're appealing to adventure type bikes. We're using what we will call like competition bikes now. Because KTM was building kind of a competition adventure bike, and it took, it's pretty cool to just see the evolution. And I still don't know if I really like 450 as like a limit, because it'd be a lot easier, I think, to get to the finish line for a regular guy with something that was a little bit bigger, just because you're not straining it so hard. But you guys, all the manufacturers now are building these 450s to run exactly as long as it takes to get to the finish line and run at 10 tenths, which they have to.
Yeah.
So,
it's become, the actual time stage is shorter, of course, than what it used to be like in Africa and stuff. So yes, the races are going quicker, and you need to have a weapon that is, that has evolved to that style of racing. And what it's done is also, like when they moved the rally to South America, in and they went to the 450cc cap, it allowed more manufacturers to play.
Yeah.
And within that, over the years, the development of the 450 machine has gotten really good. I mean, the bikes nowadays, like across the board, like a 450 open bike, competition bike is very strong. I mean, the durability and everything. So I think they've learned a lot from using a 450 at the Dakar just by the engineers having to make the thing survive all that.
And run as hard as they do.
And run at 10 tenths, like you said. Getting to the other things like the point system, I think Patrick's talking about probably the bonus points.
It's
for the opener.
It's so funny because that's such a double-edged sword, but I think they're doing as good as they could with that, in all honesty. I think it could be tuned up some because there's some days, and even this year, I think you saw it where Luciano definitely got lucky the day he moved into lead and the day he was able to open the entire stage. Well, 2 days.
Yeah.
And the bonus time he got from that was massive.
Yeah.
And again, did they know that was going to happen? I don't know. Did they? Could they? And and if it wasn't Luciano, it would have been somebody else who would have been there.
Yeah.
But how do you never know what the next stage is? So it's a little bit of casino.
Yeah.
That we like to use the word casino on rally. It's a little bit casino, and you got to kind of hedge your bets and build your strategy and think about when it's good to open, when it's not good to open. Do you is the time you're going to get back, or how much you're going to lose by opening?
Yeah.
But I think that's different.
It complicated the game a little in a way.
Yeah.
But you can definitely benefit big from it, but you can also lose big from it.
Yeah. I honestly think they need to mix it up. They need to do more mass starts, which everybody thinks I'm crazy, but you're coming to a guy who every stage I won was on a mass start.
Yeah.
Because I knew that I couldn't ride as fast as those guys most of the time, but if it came down to 5 or 10 miles, I could go as fast as anybody, but I wasn't willing to risk that for that long. But I knew I could navigate as good as anybody. And the problem is, if I can navigate really good, there's always somebody that can follow better.
Yeah. And
that I suffered from that a lot in my short rally career. Top speed, I don't know. I think it did help with some of the bike development, really, because it, like you said, it forced you to accelerate to that top speed better. If top speed doesn't make that big of a difference in reality, but I think if they open it up, you'd see more bikes blow up.
You would, for sure. It would stretch them.
Yeah, because some of those riders they don't care. They're going to hold it wide. Yeah. They're not going to preserve anything. Yeah. Tire rules.
Well, the tire rules is like in the GP class. They have to stick with the same model, same brand from the start to finish.
Right.
They tried a couple years of going, well, the GP guys, you only get 6 rear tires, but it kind of backfired, and guys were, in a marathon stage when they couldn't get a fresh tire, it was like they were running those things on the cords coming in, and it created more of a risk.
Safety,
Then what they're trying to do is slow the guys down, but the guys didn't slow down.
They're not going to slow down.
Yeah.
Tire rules, engine rule. I think engine rule is good for just, it really shows the work the manufacturers are put in for durability, and that will trickle down. The stuff that these companies are learning about things they can do to make their engines last longer at this they're going to learn stuff from, I know how much testing you guys do. You think about it, like, why does Honda do this? Well, they want to win and say like this, but there's no way they're doing this without trying to learn something. Like, why is Honda in Formula One? Right now it you look at what's going on with Formula One right now, it looks really bad for Honda, but they've been here before. They've done it. They've learned. They've won world championships, and so I think any of these manufacturers that are playing this game, and whether it's you guys, KTM, even Hero, is doing some pretty interesting stuff. I learned a little bit about some of their stuff and where they came from, like what they were using, what they're using now, and it's pretty cool. And they don't even sell a damn dirt bike. So
that's technology.
Okay, so that's our take on this. Chris Reel says the XR600 also had young riders on it. Is that us? Probably.
Well, at one time.
What does Takamoto say?
It's good to see the king of Baja transitioning to the king of Dakar. Congrats to all you guys. Well, thanks. I really don't consider myself a king of anything, but the king of Dakar, that's a huge title. I don't, I just help out. I just work. I just share my knowledge.
Don't you drive a motorhome and cook food?
I do everything.
That's how you get started.
But yeah, well, thanks, Taco. That's really cool. But
Takamoto bringing you Rooster Endo tonight, where I know we have at least one entry, which means he might just win. I got to find the other one. We'll do that when I'm doing something different here. Victor says, "Did you find that Gilwaz jacket yet?" No, it has still not materialized. So my jacket from my first BMW Dakar, the number 8 jacket.
Yeah.
I loaned it to somebody for like a museum or something like that, and on the condition it would come back. And it's that I forgot who it was, and you know how it is.
Somebody's wearing that thing.
No, they're not. You could buy it. BMW sold like a replica, really? But it didn't have the number, but they sold one with all the logos and stuff on it. And, but yeah, somebody's got the real one. It's still dusty and dirty from when I finished in Cairo.
Probably smells too.
Marco Hendrickson's talking about his, what do you call that thing? A Navi.
The Navi, the little box with no gears, all automatic. It is amazing.
Okay. I know the trick, Marco. Drill holes in the airbox cover. And then the muffler, if the muffler has a thing that comes out that you can unscrew at the end, like take that out. But don't leave it out. Punch some holes in it. You're just looking, it's an air pump. It's a little box that's an air pump. Just let some more air in and let some more out. But don't totally take the exhaust out. That's the worst thing you can do. You got to kind of meter it. So if I were going to do it by a formula, it's how you modify anything, by the way. If you do a 1-inch hole in the intake, do a 1/2-inch hole in the exhaust. 4-stroke. It's just common math. I just made that up.
It probably worked on one of your systems, and so it's just stuck in your head.
Yeah. No, I had to drill holes in lots of things when I was a kid. I didn't have any money.
Sometimes, you get more power, lighter weight. Just drill some holes. It's okay.
What is Degbit? Yeah.
Says Johnny Preston said your go-to gearing is 1449 on the new chassis RX for desert racing. 2 questions. First, isn't it revving out with that low gearing on anything faster than rocks?
Okay, so first of all, this guy doesn't trust Preston. Preston's sitting right over here, by the way. Where's our monologue reader?
Monologue's over hanging out with Cody.
Hiding.
Boo.
He's chicken. It's not going to help his stay out here. Like tomorrow's weed whacking day. I don't care what time you guys leaving tomorrow?
We're here all day.
You're here all day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, tomorrow's weed whacking day. I don't want to see one weed standing, and that's not your job. That's his job. And it starts with not reading the monologue. It's going to get uglier because there's a lot of spraying to be done too. I'll mix the stuff up. He just sprays. Okay. Back to the gearing question.
So he said the gearing 1449, and
this is just what we were talking about. Like we talked about this like 3 or 4 times in the last couple of days. We just talked about it in Dakar. Yeah. So he's worried about top speed, which everybody is, and we're worried about acceleration.
Right. So it really depends on what event or what type of riding you're doing. Depends on the gearing. Say 1449 for like a typical Hare and Hound is good on that bike. Like it's acceptable and it works pretty good everywhere. Certainly, if you get on a fast road, you're going to run out of gearbox there with a 49, And so, like in a BITD race or something like that, you're going to drop that thing down to a 47 or maybe even a 46, But in a Hare and Hound and general desert riding, you can't do that. The gear gaps would be so wide it wouldn't work.
But in best in desert, you run an X with a 6-speed.
Yeah,
usually.
There is some guys that ride an RX.
Okay.
And so that bike is kind of unique because it kind of crosses over from, hare scramble guys and to
doing desert
Hare and Hounds, and some guys ride them in a higher speed race. But, it has a closed ratio gearbox. The better
closer, yeah.
Yeah, the better gearbox and bike for Best in the Desert is the X, because it has a wide ratio 6-speed, and so then that kind of takes care of that. But there's two different bikes, and yeah, sometimes they cross over in the events, but one you could do a little more with, and the other one you could do something else with. So,
by the way, this show and Johnny Campbell brought to you by Yamaha, where you could also get a Yamaha WR like I rode in the National Hare and Hound. It has a 5-speed gearbox, which I think is the best 5-speed gearbox because it is a wide ratio. But that's just me saying that because Johnny would never think that. I was going to start this show with this other problem I have, but we'll get to my other problem later. What was our question on Instagram? Remember that one that I told you to remember?
Yeah, the one I just forgot.
Okay, don't worry. Try to make it come back because I want to talk about this gearing as well. So in a race like a Best in the Desert race, you're never going to need first gear on that in that.
That's correct.
RX gear. You're never going to need it. So you
worthless.
gear first gear. So maybe it's even like second or second a little bit taller.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to get some gaps, but you just rev it harder. And the thing to pay attention to if you're trying to set up your bike for that is you want to make sure when you make that shift, you don't have a gap, a bog. So there's a point where some riders aren't in tune to it enough to let it rev far enough to where they can make the next shift. And if you're in that position where you go and you make the shift too early and the bike just doesn't pull, well, that's on you, number one, as a rider, if another guy can get it to pull, or you need to gear down.
Yeah.
And even though it doesn't go as fast as you want it to in top speed, I used to race a 125 in the desert, so I'm hyper aware of this because I would have a 125 that I could never use sixth gear in. Sixth gear was for downhill valleys.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was fifth gear was my top speed, and then the spacing, the gearing was made so that I could pull the gears, and I had to. There was a second to third gap, I think, in my KTM 125s. If I was in second gear, which first and second gear were for like rocks, if I was going to go second to third, I had to make sure I revved the piss out of that sucker. You had, I don't remember, maybe like 35 miles an hour. I don't know what the speed was, but you just had to make sure you really revved it so you could keep pulling, or otherwise you'd shift and it'd bog down. You have to downshift again. What was the point? So, do you remember the question? No.
I was listening to you too much.
Oh, it's not that. You've heard all these stories before.
He had a second part of the question
Okay.
here. The second to run this gearing, the
that's a good
axle
one.
is pretty forward of the swing arm. Is that backwards for higher speed desert racing? Thank you. In my opinion, in my experience, on the bikes that I've raced, I always like the axle forward of the center point of the adjustment. And what that does is it tightens up the rear end. It allows you the front end to get lighter to where you can wheelie easier. You can accelerate harder. So there's some handling benefits to having the axle forward. Having it back, yeah, you can gain some stability. But it's going to be harder to wheelie, harder to get the front end up.
And that's a full personal feel thing too. I mean, because sometimes going back, everybody thinks, oh, it adds stability, but sometimes it adds some leverage to the link it, to the way that the bike works and everything.
Yeah.
And so I was always really particular about, moving it forward and back. And sometimes we wanted to do a gearing and it was like, okay, it ended up coming back to do the gearing and nope, we're taking a link out.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, that now we're not happy. So then we start playing with the gearing. Okay, we're not going to do 1449. Maybe we're going to do 1352. And the ratio is kind of close. And so you start playing with it to get the right chain length. And these are things that most people don't really think about a lot when they're doing this stuff. They just kind of, and this is why they're asking the questions. And I mean, dude, that's good, but I can't believe he didn't trust you, Preston. Like the guy went, he's like, I'm not going to ask that kid. I'm going to ask Dad. Right? Man, you got to hate it when that happens.
Yeah. So
just kidding.
So gear your bike accordingly to what you're riding. The 1449 on the RX is what we would run in a Hare and Hound environment.
What'd you run this weekend?
1449.
Well, but you're on X or
I rode
RX.
Yeah.
RX. Yeah. Okay.
1449.
That's what you did. It wasn't that fast though.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Dave Donnelly has a question.
What year did you and Johnny win the Baja 1000?
1998.
That's correct.
That's correct. 98.
Because 95 we took a stab at it, but
This 96.
no,
96.
no,
You sure?
yeah,
It was a peninsula run.
yeah, Tijuana,
Oh yeah, Tijuana to La Paz, or
Yeah.
Tijuana to La
Yeah.
Paz.
and
Almost.
we
So
rode
close.
We rode a pumped up like a XR 628,
Too much.
and the bike got hot and it just detonated.
Johnny got it hot.
and it couldn't get it. I mean, you could get it to cool down a little bit, but then it would just be slow.
Do you remember what Portocitas Road used to be like?
It's actually horrible. I can't even imagine going on now.
Every time I drive down the highway, I just remember because I rode that one time, and I think I just rode to where we were going to ride. I rode down that, and I'm like, oh my, you got to race this?
God, it's
And then,
so gnarly.
and where it got hot out by El Arco and those big, fast, long roads, right?
Yeah, it had gotten hot before that. No, it was, where it was like coming into Gonzaga and stuff, because those days there was no pavement. Like right now there's pavement there, so that's all speed zone if they run it. But those roads were just wide
Sandy,
open
yeah.
with a cushion on them, and the bike started slowing down. I thought it was going to blow up, and I had to slow down, back off for a while. Then it kind of came back and stuff. But by the time
They poured water all over the
by the time it got to Jimmy, it kind of cooled down and stuff.
because it was nighttime.
Yeah, but it's still the damage was done.
Damage was done. Did you pull that motor apart, right?
Yeah, the piston just starts trying to tie up. I mean, this
Yeah,
thing swell.
so it was all was it all detonated around?
Yeah.
Is all the rim and everything?
Yeah.
But it's amazing. It's just kept running.
Yeah,
It only went, but the problem is it only went about 55
it was working
miles an
against
hour.
each other. It's against itself, and the thing is like that spec was actually born with. It was created around 1990, with Bruce Ogilvy and Miller and stuff. They rode that thing, and to Bruce the thing was like indestructible, but they never had the problems that we had.
I don't think they rode it that hard.
And maybe they couldn't ride it as hard as we could. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't ride it that. I rode at night.
So,
But a long, fast, straight road is a long, fast, straight road.
Yeah.
And when you're just twisting the throttle, like I noticed it 2 times. We had a pit. Where was it? Out by Constitution someplace or Zaragoza. We had a pit, and there was a long graded road out to where you got out to the sand hoops.
Yep.
And I had it going down there, and it just started going slower and slower. And I'm like, oh, and I could smell because there was fog. I could smell the 2-stroke in the air because at night we were catching them, big time.
Yeah.
And I could smell the KX 500.
Yeah.
I could smell it in the air. And then we started in hoops, and then it just, like, when I turned off the road, it just got worse and worse in the hoops, and it was like, oh, I just had to nurse that sucker.
Yeah.
And then the other place where it did it was going into Scorpion Bay, just that
The long
12-mile road where it just was taped there for a while. And
Wide open, you're getting a lot of airflow, but that's when it makes the most horsepower and heat.
yeah,
And so that's why, we were in development with the XR650 water cooler, so we can not have those problems.
yeah, that's why I made us ride it. When you asked me to ride in '98, I said I'm only riding a stock bike because I was pissed at the finish. I was mad. This is the way I am as a racer, like, because I knew what could have been if woulda, shoulda, coulda, and this is like whatever. But it was like I could have gone so much faster on a stinking stock bike, and I think I probably said that to Bruce and you, and just like kind of like, why don't we just race a fucking stock bike? Because I could ride that thing so much faster, and like it's in, yeah. I still get worked up about it.
And that's the thing. In my XR600 career, we started when I came into the fold.
Yeah, the oval piston thing, or
we
whatever the hell it
had
was.
the monster bike, right?
Yeah.
And so 92 was my first Baja 1000 on that thing, and it was actually like a 650 or something, right? Detuned from what
Right.
Chuck and Dan and Bruce rode.
Fairing.
But from there, we kept going down. Then we went to 628. Then I was in, and by the end of the era,
600. We were on 600.
we were back on a stock bike,
Yeah.
and that was my favorite XR 600. That bike we went on,
Oh,
that motor, that combination was so good. You know, we had a power up cam in it,
Yep. CH did the head.
ported head, stock piston, and what I did with that motor, I knocked almost I want to say I knocked at least a pound out of it, maybe 2. And how I did that was in the 90s. See, in the 80s, the XR600 motor had magnesium covers,
Right.
aluminum Nikasil cylinder. It had hollowed out like gears, like kickstart gears and stuff. And so I ordered up all the parts from the 80s
Yeah.
and put it on that bike. So that motor was like 2 pounds lighter.
It was a super fun, especially with the twin pipe. That twin pipe just let it rev.
Yeah.
It revved so free and it picked back up good. You know, it didn't have any hit.
No
hit in that motor. It's just so like when you're sliding those dirt roads, and we were running that Metzler Karoo tire at the time, that you just a certain way to slide it.
It slid easy.
It was so good. Okay, enough reminiscing about that. Thanks, Dave.
Storytelling.
That bike, the parts of that bike are still floating around. I got a guy in Germany. There's a guy in Germany who wants some parts off that bike. Gnarly Dave's involved in this negotiation with stuff. Ace Nilsson.
Yeah, Ace, Johnny Campbell, or any of the HRC racers coming to the Snore Rally? If so, who and why not? Hey, Ace.
They're all going to Nora. They're going to all ride Nora. The whole team, factory team, just not announced here because it's fake news. Preston, you want to do Nora?
I like to do Nora.
He's like
Preston wants to go to Nora, but back to the original question is there is a world championship rally in Portugal on the same week. So the team riders will be over there chasing the second round of the world championship. So that's why they will not be there, unfortunately, because we do like that race. It's fun.
And then Ace threw a 11-time champ equals greatest of all time thing there. But Ace, you're supposed to put that question first, so you do the blowjob before you get the thing. Okay, just telling you. Mark Schneider, remember Crazy Mark?
Yeah, Crazy Mark. We saw him this last year. He didn't come by here and spend the night with his
he was out
smoke jumpers.
Yeah, he was out touring. Oh, you were here when they were here.
Yeah.
Those guys, I fixed up their bikes. That was a super cool group.
Yeah. I hadn't seen Mark since he worked on our cabin up in, up in
the A-frame. Yeah, Crazy Mark. He built a big building up in Bend. He's got his new shop and everything like that. He's got his vinyl. He does a lot of DJing. Mark, you should come down again and hang out, and you can set up. I'll put you in the corner like a DJ, and you can do some intros, and then I can get more copyright violations. And Deg BT.
I meant high geared at 1449, not low. I was thinking more like 1446.
Well, so it's funny because this is what I think we talked about high gearing versus low gearing. Like high gearing to me usually means you're gearing it for speed.
Yeah.
Even though technically, if you're talking like in the bicycle world, higher gears means slower.
That's correct.
Yeah. So it's kind of a weird terminology. So you threw the numbers out there, and that made more sense. But Preston was right. Just want you to know. San Felipe Bob.
I have a set of Achirby's Johnny gear.
Oh, he stole that probably out of the A-frame. There's like 3 sets.
For sure, he probably got that. That's awesome. But I did have a signature line one year with those guys, so maybe that's what he was talking about. But he probably stole my stuff from the A-frame.
Yeah, there's stuff. There's even Pro Sport.
Pro Sport.
There's Pro Sport there. There's like remember at Nevada Rally when we rode and we all rode Pro Sport and they just gave it gear bags and gear. I remember what was his name that was
Terry
doing
Baisley.
Terry Baisley, just bags of gear, and I'm like, why do I got all this gear? He's like, you might need it.
Terry's awesome. He's the one that hooked me up with my fly deal for.
Yeah,
it's been together for a long time.
Johnny Campbell brought to you by Fly tonight.
Yeah.
But I'm brought to you by Climb. I'm a Climb guy.
I know you're a climber.
I'm Climb. I climb. That's why I ride in comfort. This is the season for climb. I'll tell you why, Johnny. Might not know this, but climb makes all these different layers. And so when it starts out super cold in the morning and you want to get tuned up, you just wear a certain climb layer setup and they easily, like, they come right off and you can pack them in your climb knack pack and then you're super comfortable when it gets hot. And then if it gets cold because you went riding with Jimmy and we ran out of daylight, you can put your layers back on, you come back in comfort. Know what I mean, Preston?
Happens every time.
I have plenty of layers with my fly gear, so I'm just fine there.
Good. Yeah. Everybody wonders how I can time getting back to the truck on the mountain bikes right when the sun goes down. Yeah, it's I was comfortable. I had something in my back, in my backpack, just in case it got a little bit worse. Let's see. I don't know what San Felipe, but yeah, I don't want to.
Talking about
the hole. Craig Flanders. Remember that guy?
Flanders.
We just a whole bunch of Baja team. I know what it was. They wanted to know, the question on the Instagrams was, did we ride together a lot in Baja?
Oh yeah, that's it. That was good. Yeah. So you remembered, I didn't, but that's normal.
No, it's usually the other way around. Yeah.
Yeah. So Baja stories, when we teamed together, I think Jimmy brought surfboards,
Fun mover, surfboards,
a couple
of buddies.
He rented like a Mexican Nissan pickup truck
with 4 doors. It was crazy back then. We didn't have those in the United States.
Yeah. You pre-ran with Donatoni. He was your pre-run
Dave
buddy.
D. Yep, my buddy.
Drove him into the ground. Rode him into the ground.
No, he was fine.
But yeah, we just went over a bunch of stories. But yeah, we raced it twice together. The first time we got second, had some bike issues. The next time we won and had a really good time.
Yeah, it was one of the easiest races I ever did.
And we beat Ivan Stewart. Hands down on time, overall time.
Yeah, back when one of the first trophy trucks, $6,000 motorcycle beating $100,000 at the time truck. Victor says, "What is Johnny's take on the closure of all those trails in the Mojave Desert? What about your take on this, Jimbo?"
Oh, both of us.
I think we agree that we don't like it.
It sucks, but I mean. This has been a 50-plus-year-old fight. I think.
Well, when we talked to the guys when we were young kids, and we talked to the guys that used to race, and guys like Bruce and Red and whatever, they talk about you'd be driving up the highway out of the town, and you haven't even left Los Angeles. It's like, we used to start here, we would pit here, you'd race here, and you'd end up there, and you're just like, how could you do that? Like, you didn't think about it at the time. Yeah. And when I first kind of was made aware of like land use issues, this is back in California when they started the Desert Protection Act, and they were just looking, the environmental movement gained a ton of traction, and they could grab anybody who thought that you were going to cut down a tree or harm an owl or smash a tortoise. And these are people that live in cities and they don't go outside of cities and never go. They go, we need to protect everything. And they got them to bite off on this stuff, and they pushed this stuff through Congress without, the off-road community, guess what? For fun, we go out and ride our dirt bikes and we drive our four-wheelers, and we are out in nature doing the stuff that people dream of doing. And these people are like, you're crushing, destroying, killing. No, we're not. We're not doing that. There's certain areas where it happens, but it's so few and far between. And this is just, it just escalated every time. And now we're still talking about this desert tortoise. And if you do the studying and realize what's going on, there's these very activated environmentalist group. Their hobby is to protect things. And so they don't feel good about really anybody doing anything out there that might harm an ant. And so, I look at this from a bigger picture, and it's just a lot of misinformed people that don't understand what's going on. The BLM was required to do a huge route management inventory, and they closed down tons and tons of stuff. And this is just the next way that they can come and stab us. And so they just sue, and then they find a judge that has the same ideology as them, and they shut stuff down. And it's not good for management because I will tell you, I know from personal experience that there's a lot of retaliation that goes on when this happens. There's a lot of people that don't follow rules to begin with, and they're not in with all the route marking and the route inventory and all the stuff that they did, that actually in the last 5 years, I've really seen it take hold and people are being responsible. And now you've just told them, hey, you were really good. You were responsible. You did all the things we said. Now, F you can't go there anymore. And I promise you, they're going to go places that they shouldn't, and even worse, they're going to go places that have been protected, because guess where there's no enforcement, where there's nobody's going there anymore. Well, the people that go, well, we can't go here because this is where we always went, and they're going to enforce that. Well, where do you think everybody's going to go? Where they shouldn't. And there are areas that need to be closed down and stuff like that. I'll give you that, but it's really. It's bigger than just a couple, Facebook posts, and you do need to get involved. You do need to support groups like Blue Ribbon Coalition, because they are involved in this on a daily basis, and they're just like the environmental groups. That's their hobby. Well, Blue Ribbon, it's their job, and you can support a group like this, and they're gonna kind of take some of the load off of what you might have to do. But if they ask you to write a letter or sign a petition, it's really easy to go to their website and do it. If you can donate, do that. And be really careful, because there are a lot of groups that are so smart that they're going to infiltrate the there was some stupid, I'm not even going to mention the name of it. They claim to be an editorial outlet. And one of their guys wrote an article that said that this is good. And he got a lot of backlash. And do the research, he had a personal vendetta against somebody at Blue Ribbon Coalition. It had nothing to do with the actual thing, but he just did it to poke. And it's like, don't do this stuff. So anyways, yeah, I'm very upset about the closures. I wish that it would kind of turn, but now here's the other thing. So now these people live in the cities, well, guess what they want? Green energy. They want green energy. So what do we get out here in the desert where I couldn't get permits to run my schools through? Now it's a big giant black mirror. Now they're building solar fields on critical desert tortoise habitat. So over here, they're saying, oh, we need to close everything down.
They're blading
and
right on top.
They're bulldozing the crap out of it, putting
acres and miles of it.
So don't. Hey, and when they put a solar field up, it's essentially a wilderness area. It's the same thing. I can't go there, except when they put a solar field up, it's destroyed and there's a fence around it, and it doesn't look very pretty. So anyways, now you lit me up. Thank you. San Felipe Bob's WR450 was geared the way we just talked about. Fifth was for downhill with a tailwind, and man, it would fly. Well, how come I would go right by you on my 125? What does Ace say about Portuguese Road?
It's a minefield of baby heads that would destroy wheels and end riders. That's for sure. I mean, I've gotten flats there and bent multiple wheels. Just every time you go down it, you ruin a wheel. So, and this Digbity's telling you to he's telling you to shut up.
Telling me to shut up? It's my podcast. I can say whatever I want. He says, talking to the man right now. That's you. And of course, I trust Preston. Thank you. Yeah. I do too.
Yeah.
But Dad breaks it down for my dumbass. Okay.
San Felipe Bob, he wants to do Nora.
You can probably do Nora. You should have entered like a couple days ago, because you get free $1,200 of training from me. Is it worth it?
It's 100%.
100% worth it. I think you said that in the show last time.
And San Felipe Bob, it is a signature Johnny gear.
Oh, do you want to sell it? Just take a picture of it, send it into Rooster Endo. We could probably get it signed.
But I actually want to see his 1990 YZ250 says 1542 gearing.
Oh, hold up that here. What do we got here? Tell the story about this thing.
Okay, so
got a story here.
This is
I'll hold it up for the
it's a 38. I can't even.
Yeah, hold that.
What is this thing?
I'm gonna put it on the emergency cam here.
Yeah.
He's got to do his research.
1536. Okay, so this right here.
If you're watching on the show, I'm showing you a sprocket.
Since we're talking gearing, we're talking This trophy right here is from a couple legends from the Fink Desert Race down in Australia. And this thing here is the sprocket that they ran on their CR500.
Sorry about having a Yamaha right across your face on the screen, Johnny.
I want to put it in front of the Yamahas.
There, I fixed it for you.
But this thing was a Honda CR500 sprocket by Fink winners Rick Hall and Michael Vroom. And these were when men were men, 1536. Look at the chain was riding on the sprocket bolts, the nuts. Look at that thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
How'd you get that trophy?
This is from none other than
Jerry Bernardo.
Bernardo. Yeah. Bernardo sent this to me. I don't know why or how I got it, but anyway, he sent it to me. These guys signed it for me. Pretty rad.
Did you ever run a sprocket you never did CR5? You had a CR500.
I wore out 3 of those suckers when I was a teenager.
Okay. But you're mostly 250 back then.
I rode a lot of 250, but I rode a lot of 500s too. And I never had a 36. That's pretty extreme. I think maybe I had like a
42?
42, maybe 45.
I think because I remember when Donatoni and I raced the Barkmaster at the California City Grand Prix.
Yeah.
It was illegal for me to ride that because it was a Crippa Barkmaster, and Dave just wanted a part. It was a team race. That's when we started team racing.
Yeah.
I think it was 42. And the thing went off the pavement at 118 miles an hour with a cop. The cop put he was at the end of because you go about a mile down the road and you just veer off into the desert. And it's California City Grand Prix, kind of like Adelanto.
Yeah.
And the cop was sitting there with his radar gun. And when I was coming down there at him, he put the radar gun in and got out of the car and started backing up because he didn't think it was
going to stop.
I was going to be able to
slow down,
let it off.
Yeah. That is awesome.
Yeah, good time. That thing was taped.
Yeah, that was a freaking monster bike.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mark Snyder, BRC Life member. Me too, Mark. Thank you for the support on that. And Jeremy Franklin says something that's really good to know. Everyone needs to get out and vote. Know who your politicians are, because it's funny because we can write letters and stuff like that, but it really comes down to the politicians sort of understanding what's going on. And if everybody says, green energy, and that's what's going to get them votes, that's where they're going to go, and your riding area is going to get closed down.
Yep.
So they kind of have to understand recreation. And don't use dirt bike. Use the word recreation. You like outdoor recreation, and you like to go recreate, and you might drive your car on a dirt road. Well, guess what? You're an off-roader. And this is what we need to convince all these people that are really into green energy, that's the way it really is. What is T Flannel?
He says, I remember doing maps in the areas where the desert tortoise were at 29 Palms back in the early 90s in the Marine Corps. We could not go into those areas on base. Crazy hearing about them now.
So the military bases were required to do kind of certain sort of preservation and everything like that. And part of this whole, like this Johnson Valley thing that happened a few years ago, there was a big desert tortoise component to it. They were able to kind of further what they wanted by saying, hey, we're going to do more preservation, and this is desert tortoise habitat. And these are just key words that sound good to politicians' ears. So back to what Jeremy says. You need to vote. You need to, make sure that these guys kind of know what's going on. Ace Nilsson has a bike for you, San Felipe. Bob's prepped, ready to go. All you need is a checkbook. I sold a bike to my buddy from Hawaii who's going to come over. There's a prepped KTM 500 in there. I just put the roadbook tower on it today. He's coming over, and he's going to do the Nora as well.
Yeah, awesome.
So you Bob, you would have an absolute blast. I mean, I tell this to anybody, like if you want to go experience Nora, do Nora, experience Baja, like the kind of like it was when I remember it, because those are the roads I find. That's what it's all about. So yeah, sign up for Nora. Check out Nora's Baja. Search it, whatever you have to do to find out about it. Where's my monologue guy? You're not sure? He's just totally hiding over there. This guy named Victor, friend of the show, had a question. I'm going to make Johnny read this because, we missed Logan, and everybody thought Logan was kind of, what's the word for like slow or mentally challenged, or it starts with an R. We sometimes talk about ignitions and we use the word. It's like, we thought Logan was a little, I can't remember that word. Anyways, because he'd have to read something like this. So, Johnny?
2010 CRF 450R, fuel injected, running great yesterday. Put some good gas today. Got to ride some washes. Got warm a little. Got out of the washes. Started riding flat dirt roads and started bogging under a load. If I pull in the clutch or even on gear, it revs up perfectly. It must be even in gear. Revs up perfectly.
This is where it gets good. You did really good. That was hard. That was hard to read.
So this, yeah.
Hold on a second. So Victor paid for this question with this. Yeah, this paid is a prepayment on like 20 questions. So okay. So we talked a little bit about this. So the first thing you said was,
well, bogging under a load. I felt like it needs you need to have good ground, and I thought maybe the ground wire on the coil or the spark plug cap. I really leaned on the grounding of it. And maybe there's like a problem there with this bike being 16 years old, and also but you can have a bad spark plug that is starting to fail. How old is the spark plug? What about the spark plug cap? Maybe resistor.
Yeah, when you're dealing with old bikes, as I know well. You're kind of chasing this sort of unknown, because there's so many things that can go wrong. And the first thing I went to was stator. Mm-hmm. So I've just seen a lot of, and if you don't know the history of the bike, like if your bike has gotten really, really hot, like XR 600 hot, mm-hmm. it can melt the epoxy on the stator. And, you think about hot oil inside of a motor just sitting on this stuff, and it can melt the epoxy, and then those wires get a little bit loose. And all it takes is for one to vibrate a little bit, and then you're going to have some weird electrical signals. And modern ECUs do not like, especially the fuel-injected bikes, do not like weird electronic signals. And that's where you went, too. You went ground. Yeah. I went maybe stator, was just my initial thought. Because he said when it's cold, he starts it up, and it just works. So if you have once you kind of have a problem that seems to rely on the bike getting hot, and it's electrical, mm-hmm. that's why I went away from ground. Yeah. So because the ground would be kind of consistent, because you also thought load, like maybe the chassis was torquing or something weird like that could cause it. So I kind of get both ways, but you sort of see how we sort of start breaking down this problem, like where is it? And the one thing that confused me that didn't make sense with the stator thing was that if he pulls in the clutch and he free revs it, that it's fine, it can rev up. But then I started going, okay, what about like fuel injection, fuel pressure, fuel delivery? Because free revving doesn't take that much fuel. Yeah. Like when you're under a load, it takes a substantial amount more fuel. And so then it's, okay, now we're at fuel filter, fuel pump, injector. Yeah. So, Victor, I'm just going to tell you, like 100%, you're completely screwed. You are in for you have to check a lot of stuff. And I remember he texted me. He said, I'm loading it up and taking it home. I'm like, what, are you going to test it around the streets of Torrance or wherever you're going to go pop wheelies and be a wheelie boy or something to get this thing working? You're out in the desert. You should have just kept working on it. So, there's more parts to the question. Let's see.
I turned it off, restart, then it runs great for a while, and then bogs, but only under load. You set it in neutral or pull in the clutch at revs. So let it rest for half an hour, and now it accelerates great again. So yeah, I think with these, we did talk about the ECM, but for sure the way the stators work.
Yeah.
Coming from a XR600 background, we had a few failures.
But how are the Honda fuel pumps generally?
Generally good, but this is the second year fuel injected bike.
Mm-hmm.
Back then we did have some problems with the pumps,
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. You go back in any itineration of bike, and now that you've had like 5-6 years of hearing about it, like, okay, this one, this bolt breaks just for no reason. It's just these weird things. But when it's brand new, the first 2-3 years, you don't have this kind of history. 5 years in, you start learning about it, and then everybody forgets, and you can't remember which one was which.
I remember on the 09s, might have been 10s, but I remember they did have a pump upgrade. I think it was actually not a pump, it was a filter upgrade, because the filter on it was pretty small, I guess. And so they did have some issue with that.
Conway says it's the Jimmy, it's the pulse generator, and Jimmy's right. It got hot.
Okay, so there we go. We have a Honda expert that just called into the show via Preston, who's what was the guy's name? I got to get his name. Degbitty Preston just dropped some knowledge on us here. so the okay, Victor, here's what it is. It's the pulse generator. It got hot, and the pulse generator is the problem. And you know what? I tend to agree with them, because I've seen that problem on a lot of brands. Okay, it's funny. That's a good thing. Good thing Ray was listening. He gave us the thing. Ace Nilsson says retarded. I'm just reading the comments, and by then he meant we're talking about ignition timing. Yeah, because I'm definitely, my ignition timing's off. Jason Mace, what did he say?
Hey brother, the Berg is racing the Mint 400 again. 94 FC600.
You had to bring
16-year-old bikes are new. Boom! He just drops it right there.
My name is Jimmy, and I'm a Husaberg-aholic. So didn't really want to talk about this, but you brought it up. You said Husaberg. So last week, my good buddy Preston over here was driving down from Montana, and he was going through this place called Pocatello. Some guy in Pocatello happened to have a nice FE 550. This is the 2007 version. We started chit-chatting about it, and he wanted to make a trade he had a low-hour bike. He wanted to trade for a high-hour KTM 350. We worked out a deal. It was all in thing, and then Preston was about an hour or two out, and the deal kind of came to a halt, other than I could pay him money for, how we have a group. Have you ever been to group when you may have a problem and you have to sit in a circle?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like I'm doing with all you people right now. So anyhow, he threw the ultimatum in there that I could have the Husaberg if I gave him some money for it. This sight unseen, didn't know anything. Preston's getting closer. Some text messages going back and forth. But I have a deal with my wife that I'm not going to buy any more motorcycles. So I figured it was a trade, so it was fair game. I wasn't buying one, I was trading one, so the bike count wasn't increasing. But he convinced me, the guy I'm buying the bike from, convinced me, I still don't even care about the condition of the bike or anything like this, that the KTM was definitely worth more than the Husaberg, and I could sell the KTM that I was going to give him or trade him for more than what I was going to pay for the Husaberg. So somehow the bike ended up in Preston's van. He trusted me. I wired in some money, a little bit of money. I sent him a check and everything. Bike shows up here. So now I'm in trouble. The good thing is I did tell my wife, I go, guess what, honey? We got his and hers matching, 1997 Husaberg. She goes, oh, great. That's good. What color is that one? It was pretty cherry. But the very first time I started it up, big puff of smoke came out of the tailpipe. and the filter was completely clean on it, except like, I know a little bit about these things. So like I reached down into because the airbox is on top of the frame, and I reached down there and a little bit of sand inside. I think its last run was around those nice sand dunes and fields they have. Maybe St. Anthony sand dunes, or just a little north there, or maybe it was just out by the nuclear test. It's probably nuclear fucking stuff as well. So yeah, I got it together. It's running. It's okay. We're fine. I didn't need one. Hey, did you hit a rock yesterday on that thing?
On that?
Yeah, I told you to chest it out. No, okay. It's got a dinger in the front rim. I didn't think I did it. It runs like a raped ape, though. A little low on power. Pumps a little bit of oil out the overflow, but that's normal. Okay, back to the show. So Jason, good to see you out at the Mint. Maybe I'll try to find you out there. Yeah, I saw him last year, and it was funny because I saw him I think I saw him ride the bike, and I'm like, hey, your shock needs nitrogen. I don't know. I just as a Husaberg brother, another Husaberg brother, trying to help the guy out. Sure.
You all got to stick together.
Hey, this show is brought to you by all the Husaberg talk is brought to you by Yamaha, and the only reason Yamaha doesn't care I talk about Husaberg is because they're blue, and they're extinct, and so Yamaha has no competition from Husaberg. Just so you know. Let's see. Victor says,
I will start with the fuel.
No. Say it like spell it. Say it like he spelled it.
Okay.
Fuel.
I'll start with the fuel delivery.
Fuel.
Fuel.
Maybe that's Spanish for fuel.
Fuel delivery. Your comments make a lot of sense. It might be starving fuel under load. Thank you and cheers. Cheers, Victor.
You should get paid for answering one of his questions. We'd like some of his mezcal.
I don't think that's really good for me.
Okay,
now.
Then pour it for me. Aaron Rupel says, "Hi guys, Johnny. What is your top picks? Just a little bit. Don't pour it like you did that. Remember that really expensive bottle we did that one time?
No.
The black bottle.
Is that expensive,
dude? That. do you remember that? It was the. Hey, Preston, go in. That's the one up on top. Bring it back onto the show. There's some still left in there. I ain't gonna let you touch it. Let's see. What are your top picks or custom mods to a first gen 450X? Those are the ones that Ricky likes, right?
Yeah, a lot of people were like that old bike.
Just put it right over here on the side of the thing.
Other than flex bars, a big tank, or bolt-on parts.
Why would Johnny like flex bars? He's a Renthal guy.
Well,
I'm flex bars guy.
He doesn't know that.
I know. He probably listened to the show.
This retard over here is one. No. Big tank.
Wait, did you call me like my ignition timing's off?
Yes. Big tank or bolt-on parts. Long rides, Colorado, Baja pre-run bike. Thanks, JB. So.
Wait, thanks, JB. Like his name is Irvin Rupel. Aaron Rupel, and he said is JB.
Is this Jerry Bernardo?
Oh, wait a minute. He's got a burner account? Hold on a second. Where's that book?
There's that book.
There's that book. Hold on a second.
Here's the trophy he gave me.
Yeah. It might. Who knows whose account? Okay. This is for JB. Nobody paid me to not do this. You got a few seconds because there's a way on our YouTubes or something like that you can actually send money. So hold on one second. This is called a contest of the impaled. I'm gonna have a hard time reading this. Okay.
I'll take that dollar.
Johnny Campbell just saved the show. So because the JB I'm talking about definitely knows. He has that bike. Man, you had some really. I remember I rode for, was it Cycle World or for Dirt Rider? We rode one of your race bikes, didn't we? Did we do like kind of a race bike test or something on your X?
I'm sure you did.
Yeah. It was funny because everybody loves that bike, and I honestly preferred the stock one. Like when it went to race, it just kind of went out of my flavor zone because I was riding all these weird things like Husabergs and KTMs and whatever. So
It was a race bike.
yeah, it was a race bike.
You like the trail version.
I like the trail version. So okay, go ahead. What are your top tricks?
You know, I really like to ride the bike stock. It just depended on what we were, where I was going and what I was doing. But I think I'm actually just trying to dig back in the archive. It's just taking a little while.
I went over to your shop and asked you for carburetor jets the other day.
And I had them.
You had all the jets, but I wanted this little trick part that we were putting on the bikes. We were using these pump squirt adjusters. There were these Boysen things, and there was like R&D made. They made all these ones with they like had 3 screw holes in it. It was like all this extra thing. You could really tune the jets. And Johnny's like, we never use those.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, you guys had the trickiest bikes out there, and like, we didn't use those. It's funny just how many different ways there are to skin a cat.
Yeah.
The different things. But
I would say, one of the first things
I want to know, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
Before we just go down the things, what are you going to do with this bike?
Exactly, because that depends. You say, oh, it's a pre-runner bike, but you can just.
There's a difference between a pre-run bike and a race bike.
100%.
Yeah,
and then bigger tank. So you want distance. He said other than bars or big tank or bolt-on parts. So he wants to know, like, what do we what we do to the motor a little bit, or but I mean,
well, okay, here's how you know whether you need to do the motor. So like when you're riding and you're like wide open, right? And I mean, you're wide open and not building RPM, you're wide open and it's about ready to bounce off the rev limiter. When you're like that, you go, I wish this throttle would open more.
Yeah.
When you're at that point, then you say, I wonder what I can do with this motor right now to make it faster because it's so slow.
Yeah.
But until you're there, you don't really need to worry about doing much to the motor. Just turn the throttle farther or let it rev more, and you will get more power.
I think one of the things.
Hold on. You have to listen really quiet for that, but that's a good sound. The more you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think probably one of the things I'd like to do is kind of bulletproof it, right? And what I mean by that is like, okay, what could possibly get wrecked or dented or broken or whatever? On the stock bike, one of the things it needed a more robust skid plate, and also the brake lever or brake pedal, it had a tendency to, if it kind of stuck out, and then if it hit the clutch cover, it would pop a hole in the clutch cover, because the clutch cover was like magnesium and it was super light duty. So we always went to a billet clutch cover just to durability proof it in case the lever came over and hit it. I also used to take that lever and I would massage it like on a buffing wheel.
Oh, so it didn't have any square points.
No square points. And so that way it would kind of glance off the cover if it got hit by a rock or something.
How many other quote CRF modification guys would tell you to do what you just, that's like factory level. Like that's that people are, I want to make my bike into the trickiest bike, and then they forget to do that.
Yeah, and then
they don't even know to do that.
Then you pop a hole and you lose the oil and you blow your motor up.
Yeah, little things.
So yeah, I mean, we even went to extent like on our race bikes, we had we'd slice a little tubing and wrap it around the edge of that brake pedal and put some safety wire on it just to give it a little more cushion if it did happen to do that. So that's something that we did. The other thing too is we would put a higher pressure radiator cap on the bike. The bike didn't come with a fan, so if you were like riding slow or something like that, you want a little more pressure.
You know what Johnny showed me when I was looking for carburetor parts? He pulled out a little trick part, a little bracket to route the hoses. Like, you know, and this is in fuel injection days. What are all the hoses? But all those hoses that came out of the carburetor, there
Off
was
the back of the carburetor.
yeah. This was a little bracket that he just goes, hey, look at this, and like what's that? And it's like it's a little piece with a bunch of holes
So
in
you
it.
can
It's like,
route all your vent tubes off the carburetor down the back.
perfect,
side.
yeah, out the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and little things, you know, like at the bottom of the vent hoses, clip them so they can't get plugged with dirt. You
Yeah.
know, so you know, clip them 4 ways so that they flay open, so that it's hard for dirt to get packed into them.
That's right.
There's stuff like that, but what other?
I like to jet that bike, you know, tune it a little bit. If you want to put let's say you want to put an exhaust system on it to make a little lighter, or just tune it, you know, so you're going to have to do a little bit of jetting. And so we could,
Some of the jetting specs if you want to read them.
we got the jetting specs coming in.
yeah, we got some jetting specs.
I don't
coming
know
in.
if we need to go that far, but yeah.
But-
Let's see. Okay, hold on a second.
But we could probably do a whole show on that bike. So
Yeah, if you want the whole show on the Sierra 450X first gen, let us know. But you want the 42 Pilot, the NCVT needle, and the 4th clip, and a 158 main. Just that's the kind of knowledge that
go.
we can just drop out of the sky here
Yeah.
on a Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. Usually not, but this time it happened.
remember we found some of my jetting specs?
Oh yeah, that was for the 250.
Yeah, just handwritten on a piece of paper
Yeah.
stuck in my jetting drawer. I actually took that and put it in my bike setup
File folder.
I have a folder on that bike, and as some other bikes too. But when I opened it up, I saw it just started bringing back all these memories of like, oh, I remember I did that. Oh, I spent so much time with that. Oh my god.
Yeah, and like to jet a Honda with an aluminum frame on it was a work of passion.
You had to have really small hands and small screwdrivers.
Jeez, unfortunately I remember all that.
I don't know how much gas I've put on my cuticles before, but it's jetting.
Yep. Still waiting for that monologue. You know, he could actually end the show. I'll give him 4 minutes at the end of the show. You know what people would pay to get 4 minutes on the show? You think about all of the sponsors that pay a lot. By the way, this show brought to you by Yamaha, Fast Company, Flex Handlebars, which we need to get those on our mountain bikes again. I have them on a mountain bike.
Gotta ride some chattery.
Ride a chattery road on a mountain bike and you want Fast Company Flex Handlebars. They make them for mountain bikes. I run them on all my dirt bikes, and if you think they're good on dirt bikes, they are amazing on the mountain bikes. Bulletproof Designs, they made me this special because I'm a big fan of front disc brake rotor guards. They made me this one out of wood because it's lightweight. Read some of the remarks on that thing.
Those are pretty cool. Breakable. This
Aaron-
is breakable.
Yeah, it's breakable. It's
Can
lightweight.
be used as firewood.
Yep, you can burn it after you're done.
It floats.
Yep.
Jimmy Lewis Superlight.
Well,
DBT.
yeah, it's a special balsa wood.
pretty
Actually, it's they told me what kind of wood it was. It even has a Pabst Blue Ribbon logo on it. Look at that.
That really is your signature.
Yeah, it's special piece of wood. Thanks to Bulletproof Designs. I actually did a little install video on some. Actually, if you cut this guard part off, like right here, I put this piece on my bike, on my KTM 300A, because I like to ram the fork lugs into rocks, but never the disc rotor.
Look at this
Aaron-
one. This one's for Victor. In the middle there, from Deb. He said he's had 309s. It was the filter that had issues.
Oh,
So maybe Victor, you can So I know you had that on your list of things to check, but try the pulse generator first.
yeah, pulse generator. Is that a separate part, or is it all part of a? Because I know, like it was funny because certain year KTM's you could buy only the pulse generator, and then on certain years it was part of the whole stator assembly.
I can't remember that year.
Yeah. Yep. Mark's a little late, but he made it. Hey, Mark, tonight we're having, just so you know, special for Mark. It's a Tech Talk Taco Tuesday and M for mezcal. I'm having this. Johnny poured it for me. He didn't spill any like that other bottle over there.
I only sport.
That's a hard pour out of that thing.
I only spill the expensive stuff.
Yeah, this one here, it has a at the top, this bell on the top here. Let me see. Hear that ring? Yeah, it has a funny little top, and it a lot of it went. There's probably like $200 of it went on the table, and that's not much. Thank you, Jeremy, buddy Jeremy.
Yeah.
I fixed a KTM en route to a ride, and he said, "How can I pay you back?" And I said, "Hey, we're sitting at the bar, amazingly." I mean, I never go to bars, but we just happened to be sitting at a bar with my bartender, and we were talking about if money was no object, what tequila would we get? And that was it. And I said, "Funny, we're having this discussion." And he said, "No problem, taken care of." And that appeared. So, looks like the arm of pain. The tube of pain, Bob. That's what it's called. Clase Azul Negra. It gets 2 jugs and a thumbs up. Wow, the Facebook is actually quick. If he saw that already and commented, the delay isn't that long.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. What was it? We were back on that Honda 450. I started it, like some thoughts came through my small ignition tuned brain. By that I mean retarded. IMS makes a really nice gas tank that's like about a half a gallon, 3/4 of a gallon bigger, right? Half a gallon, or is it a whole gallon bigger?
Whole gallon bigger on that model.
Yeah, that's a nice tank. That's a really good mod that doesn't seem like it hurts anything, and you just get extra range on that bike. Yeah. Like Johnny said, you can get quite a big jump in performance with just a muffler and some jetting.
Mm-hmm. You can do a little airbox mod.
Yeah, airbox even increases it more. I was a big fan of more of the quiet mufflers, and I know Pro Circuit was really everybody was like struggling at that time. Everybody's like sound was a big issue back then, and everybody was like struggling because everybody could make the bazooka muffler because that's what they had on their motocross bike to make a good sound compliant muffler. I had really good luck with the FMFQ back then. Leo Vence made a really good system that was super quiet, and it used mechanical baffles, kind of like the stock one, but it only weighed like half of what the stock one weighed, which was like 4 pounds.
Yeah.
Still, and like you put a Pro Circuit on there, and it was like what, 1.5 pounds.
Yeah.
So there's all different levels, but if you can kind of keep that thing restricted just a little bit, then you don't have to go so crazy with the jetting, and it seemed like it ran really good. Those are the things I kind of just remember. The problem with the stock one, and this even to this day, like the Hondas that are stock, the throttle response is so gnarly on the stock quiet ones. It's I don't want to say like gnarly like in power, but it's very responsive at the down low, and sometimes when you open them up a little bit, you can actually really smooth it out, and it seems like it just smooths the torque out. The torque doesn't come on all at once. So, okay.
Aaron Ruppel's back. Curious about the custom fab things, parts specifically. I've reinforced the chain guide, stuff like that.
Oh.
That must be on the 450X, the Gen 1.
Okay. Yep. Well, yeah, reinforcing the chain guide things. Yeah. So he's talking about the factory stuff, like you were talking about rounding off the brake lever.
Yeah. But on the chassis on those bikes, we didn't do anything. The chassis were super good, so it's not like we had to like weld anything or fab anything on those.
Definitely don't run an aluminum skid plate.
Yeah, aluminum skid plate is the worst thing you could ever do to your motorcycle.
Well, there's some that are okay, but for the most part, it affects the handling to a level that you can't comprehend.
Yeah, so just don't do that. Use a plastic one. We did use some carbon ones on those bikes, but the plastic ones are for better handling anyway.
Yep.
So
did you do much with like different linkages? And I mean, you guys were running A-kit suspension on the race bikes.
We did. We used stock links. We did mess around with some other links, but we were kind of sideways. So, but yeah, it's just stock. I mean, the bike was so good.
Triple clamps. We ran a stock lower and a BRP upper, and that was the best combo on that. Scott's steering stabilizer.
Definitely Scott's steering stabilizer. That was really nice for racing and desert ride and stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of all the things that I remember seeing on those bikes. Like little things like your brake caliper carrier was massaged down so that the wheel changes were quicker.
Yeah.
And then did you have a special front quick change axle on those things or not?
Not really.
Nope.
Nope.
Yep. Yeah. So there's lots of different things.
Yeah.
But and this is what people always get lost on when they start looking at like factory bikes and stuff. They don't look at they see the titanium and the shiny bits and all the flashy stuff. They don't look at the time it takes and some of the stuff that's mostly for like protection and just problem prevention.
Yeah.
You know, to make parts come on and off easier if something needs to be changed or stuff to just eliminate, you know, just the detail that goes into the wiring.
Yeah. One thing that we do to those bikes is when we use like a quarter by quarter wire mesh on top of the radiator grill, because that wire mesh stops things like, you know, as big as your pinky, like maybe like
punji
3
stick
blades to go through the radiator, and a lot of times a lot of it's like in the California desert with like creosote bush and stuff. That's
Yep.
what that was for. But that really helped us there in Baja. We ran that stuff. We still do, actually.
Yep. Right on. So go out to the Mint 400 and watch Johnny's race bike out there.
Watch Preston and Nolan tear it up. this
Preston
Saturday.
and the guy who won't come and
7
do a
a.m.
monologue on the show. He's over it. Like he's been on 3 shows now and he quits. Like Logan at least did like a tour of like a month or 2. It was a long time. Logan was here for a long time. You got to watch him grow up. He started about this tall and then now he's like, you know, who knows, way up there. Hey, what else did you bring, Johnny? You brought something else.
Yeah,
What was this?
so I was digging in some boxes the other day, cleaning up. Of course, we always clean up stuff. But Moto crampons, not tampons, crampons. This is a French magazine, and
I'm gonna pull it up to the other screen here.
I
So
had
it's
a little
closer.
I had a little note on it, and it said Vegas Torino, page 30. But the unique thing about that is that the guy on the cover is none other than my partner here, Jimmy Lewis.
Wearing a Chirby's gear.
Wearing a Chirby's gear.
It was back before there was Climb.
It was before, and I wore a Chirby's, so
We look like a team.
So this photo right here is from Vegas Torino, 1999.
A little bit there. So if you're watching on show, it's a French. No, is it French?
French.
French.
I think it's French.
Or is it? I think Moto Crampons was Italian. Shoot. Hold on, let me look at the.
Oh yeah, it's Italian.
It's Italian. Yeah, because like, yeah, Moto Vert and all the other ones
Sorry.
were the other one. Oh,
Sorry
it's-
if I did that, but anyway, this bike here. That interesting thing about it is this was the very first production XR 650R in the States. So there was actually none in the dealers at the time. They brought one over, and it was box stock, and they wanted us to race it at Vegas Torino.
No, they wanted us to win.
They want us to win
Vegas Torino.
and get ready for the Baja 1000 that year. So I got my good buddy Jimmy to ride with me here, and we.
The difference about this picture is there's no big giant ding on the fork leg down at the bottom. I was racing with this kid named Ty Davis. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. We were battling it out, and he was on a YZ400.
Yeah.
because that was new at the time.
Yep.
And he went past me someplace out there, and I was going to pass him back, and I was maybe in the dust or something. And I can take you to this rock. It's out by Goldfield, Nevada. I can show you this rock. It's still out there. It's a big giant rock, and it has a little finger on it that sticks out into the road. And helicopters.
Yeah.
I didn't ride in one. I hit it with my fork leg, and I don't know what happened after that, other than the bike was doing helicopters, and I picked it up and got going again, and then I forgot everything that happened after that. But I remember riding in the box fan, and then Bruce said, "Do you want to get back on?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." But we went from first. I think I was in first when I got on the bike there, right? I was leading when I got on the bike.
Yeah. I don't know.
Came back in in second. And then Ty's bike blew up because that's what YZ400s did in desert races back then. And then we were in first, and then there was some kids like Destry Abbott or something
Probably Cowie.
On the Cowie in the KX500.
Yeah.
And I managed to hold them off until we came to a pit. And the plan was to change the tire.
Oh, yeah. Way too long a pit.
No, it wasn't that bad. It was just they were right on my ass. They were in my ass to my dust. And I remember coming in, I knew we were going to change the tire, but it wasn't the bike wasn't working that bad.
Yeah.
And I just remember yelling like, hey, don't change it, just gas and go. And it was like, everybody had the stand and the guys were all ready and the tire changes were pretty damn fast. Yeah. But that bike was like just outside of my dust. And I'm like, just go so maybe you could dust them out and maybe they'll crash. But no, we changed the tire and got passed and then we got second. So it was my fault. Because I crashed.
But yeah, that was the story of the first XR650 in the country. So
yeah, that was I didn't realize that bike would go on to be so much of a race bike. Well, so funny thing to roll this back to Husaberg talk. You're gonna hate me for this. Hold on, Husaberg talk. So the guys at Honda R&D at the time. Because one of my roommates when I was living back in California was one of the guys there, and they would see all these bikes I'd bring home. I'd bring home Huskies and Husabergs and all these different bikes. And so the guy who was in charge of this at HRA, my roommate goes, "Hey, can we go riding out in the desert?" And so we went to a race and we took a Husaberg and we took a Husky. And that was the Husky with that big round mono backbone frame thing. And we took that and a Husky, a Husaberg, and then some other, I think a KTM 4-stroke. Just bikes that they couldn't really get their hands on at the time. Mm-hmm. And we went and rode them. And we all agreed that the Husaberg was the bike that and I knew they were working for Honda. I knew what they were doing and stuff. And we were just kind of riding the bikes and because in my mind, God, if Honda could make a Husaberg, that would be a really good bike. Because back then, like the Husaberg is what the modern KTMs are. I mean, this is a weird thing, but the Husaberg was so good. And I think on the way home, he got confused between Husaberg and Husky. The guy in the van and my roommate Jason probably too. I think they got mistaken. I'm not throwing Jason under the bus. Yeah, I am. So here's the problem is like they knew one of the bikes was really good, but they got him mistaken and they got the wrong one. And that was the one that they started building this to be like, I think. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. There was
Frankenbike.
It was an interesting
development cycle.
Couple years for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, there's no way Honda could ever make a Husaberg because there's not enough motorcycle there. I mean, then it needs durability. Every one of those Husabergs that I talk about all the time right now, they're all ticking time bombs. Every single one. Every time you start it, there's a stopwatch on it, and you don't know whether it's set for 4 hours or 10 minutes. It's going to blow up, and it's going to be expensive, and you can't get parts. Anybody want to buy a Husaberg? Because my wife would probably be really happy now if I sold them. Heather, they're the blue and yellow ones, okay? Not the blue ones like the Yamahas that run like raped apes. By the way, this show brought to you by Yamaha. If you want a really fun motorcycle that's almost like a Husaberg, it gives you all the excitement without any of the durability issues. Go down to your Yamaha dealer and get a YZ125. That's all I can think about right now. I need to start riding 2-strokes again. Johnny Campbell's been good. Oh, we got
Tom Van Beveren. It says any photo credit on that photo, which this one
is that it?
I wonder if it's a Tom photo. Is that your photo, Tom?
Holy, there's probably someplace I used to put magazines together. This one's Carlo Banglinetti. Yeah, this is Italian cover. I hate to say it. Photo Kenny Jones.
Ah.
Yeah, Kenny Jones. Because I think, did Kenny come out the day before. Did he come out to the secret test session?
He did the photos. Yeah.
Yeah. Tom, it's a Kenny. If it were during the race, Tom, it probably would have been you back then for sure. But we knew Cycle World was going to do a big story on this. It was like kind of a super top secret exclusive back when we used to do that kind of stuff. And so we had Kenny come out and shoot some photos because that's up at Spring Mountain Pass.
Yeah.
That was up there, and it was kind of funny because it was so top secret.
Yeah.
It was all top secret.
I remember that.
Mike came at been going.
My commit JC the magazine reminds in Italy promoter of
We gotta go. Hold on.
Transitalian Marathon Micro Urbanitani. Great dude. And
I think it's Marco Ubanati.
not micro.
It's probably typo.
He's a fan of yours. You two should hit this ride, not a race. Big fun. Urbanitani.
Okay.
Transitalia.
Hey, Gary Drummond says, my poor Sherco got some tough love last week. He's talking about Rooster Ender, which we're going to get to right now. My internet was down, or I would have chimed it with some details.
Oh.
Well, you can always, even if you're watching it in the past, I mean, if you're listening to it, it's a little bit harder, but just email me, Jimmy at Dirt Bike Test, complain, bitch, gripe, whatever you want, and I'll read it on this show. I'm not afraid. There's some guy that wants to challenge me. I have a comment, and when he does, I'm gonna invite him to be call into the show. So let's see. How was the Sherco support? Do you feel like you have a good dealership or mechanic if needed? Jesse, who are you asking that to? Sherco support. I don't know about Sherco support. Kawasaki swing arm bolt.
He's back on the CRF X.
Oh, is there a trick with the Kawasaki swing arm bolt?
It was something we experimented with, but I want to say
was it solid and not hollow, or vice versa?
it was a little different shape.
Okay.
So it what that bolt did to the chassis was it kind of locked it in and made it a little more I'd say a little more stable in some respect.
Yeah.
But and you can move the bike with your feet a little more, but it was a little bit too harsh, like when you're hitting rocks and stuff.
Huh.
So stock is best.
Was it? I mean, is it more than like torque bolt on engine mounts?
Yeah, it's the same type of
Feel.
but the end, like where the Honda one at the end had a step down and the threads were smaller. This one, the shaft was all the same length and the threads were, so it had like a bigger nut ID on the nut, and so it locked it in a little bit.
Huh. Yeah, you'd be amazed at what people test and try to get a certain sort of a feel. And I mean, you hear about this, like, all the motocross shows talk about like supercross racers and motocross racers trying to get comfortable with their bike. And it literally has very little application to the regular person because they probably wouldn't feel it if you gave them the opportunity to go back to back. I mean, it's because you're searching for this certain thing. It's like a very specific issue that you're searching for.
Yeah.
But everybody likes to know about this stuff, so that's why we talk about it.
I mean, the same thing. We try to patch, like on the swing arm, on the cast piece, we try to patch up there to eliminate a little bit of this motion. But for off-road riding, it just didn't work. Some of the motocrossers were doing that back then. But for us, the Cowie bolt and that it just wasn't a direction we went.
Yep. Okay, now it's time for a Roost or Endo, brought to you by Takamoto. So everybody, this is the segment that everybody loves to wait for the many hours. 47 million of you hanging on the seats, the edge of your seats, to know that this Roost or Endo is a slam dunk. This is Jamie Livingston, and the reason it's a slam dunk is because, believe it or not, he's the only person that submitted an entry this week, which means that, Jamie, no matter what we say about your bike, Roost or Endo, it's going to win. So if you're out there and you didn't submit your bike this week, so you send a picture of your bike, you say the year, make, and model. I'm giving you instructions. I'm telling you how to win. your make and model, because I can't just guess at what it is. And then tell us a little bit about your bike, and then we will put it up on the screen just like Jamie's bike is going up right now. His is the KTM. I just saw something really good in this, by the way. So his is the KTM, and we'll talk about it. So here's let's see. Here's what Jamie says. I thought you were going to read it.
Sorry. Love the show. Hi, Jimmy. Love the show. Found it last year and listened to all the old episodes while working. Here's my submission of Roost Indo. It is the 2024 KTM 500 XCF. Love this bike. Just got back to riding after 18 years.
Come on, Logan.
My son is now old enough and enjoys it as much as I do. I picked him up 05 TTR 125. Father-son bonding is priceless. Only a few mods so far due to being a single dad on a budget living in California's East Bay. Mods. G2 bar guards, skid plate. Thanks, Jamie Livingston.
Okay, and he actually submitted this twice.
Oh, is that why there's two
Yep.
emails?
Yeah, there's two emails. They're kind of the same. He probably didn't realize it got sent. So let's see. He says, there are many things I need to make it badass. Unfortunately, being a single dad and all this stuff. Okay, so he's hitting the pulling the single dad card here. But anyways, here's his bike up on the screen. If you're looking at it, it is a pretty stock KTM 500 2024 EXC. So he did all the requirements. He told me year, make, and model, which is good because I don't have to guess. And you're seeing this bike. He's got his bar guards and a skid plate, which are good mods. The bar guards, because like one tip over, you're paying for those things if you don't snap a lever off. The bike looks nice in stock. It looks like they're out at the picnic tables going riding. They're out there, but I'm not concerned about your bike. Look at that. That is a Yamaha. Yamaha, proud sponsor of the show. I don't know if you know this, but the TTR 125, it wasn't the 125 I was talking about earlier, but I own a few of these because this bike is absolutely amazing. It's kind of like we were talking about earlier. It's the competition of the Honda. Now it's called a CRF 125, but in our days it was an XR80.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is like a modern version of an XR80. The good thing about the Yamaha, way before the Honda, they put that thing called an electric starter on there. I don't know why Honda and electric starters are like oil and water. They don't go well, but it took you guys a long time to get to electric starters. I still remember going on trail rides with you and Bruce Ogilvie, parking on off-camber side hills with a really sharp edge on the, so on the right side that there's no way you could kickstart the bike on the side of the hill. And I'd pull up on the DRZ and I'd stop in a place where I knew that and Bruce didn't have the longest legs. Johnny had a little longer legs. I'd pull up there. You guys would be on XR 400 or something. And I'd pull up and I'd stop. And you're like, what are you stopping for? I go, how's the view? And I'd push the start button right away because I was trying to teach Bruce a lesson through having to watch you try to kickstart the bike on the side of a cliff.
Yeah.
So anyways, but even more, this TTR 125 is even more special because it has the BBR skid plate, a necessary mod for anybody that wants to go slam this thing into stuff. Johnny just talked about the importance of skid plates. This not only protects the cases, it keeps your frame from stretching into a longer wheelbase. Very, very important. His kid's got wraparound handguards on this thing. This bike, I'm liking it. The more I look at it, I think you've done your son a favor. I can't believe that he said getting back into riding after 20 years. He said there's 20 he switched his number of years, 18 years and then 20 years in riding between the different things. I thought he said his son was 20 years old, and I said, well, you probably got to get him off that TTR 125 at 20 years old, but I'm a little bit older than that, and I still ride mine. You should see me the flat track on the TTR 125 out there. It's pretty epic. So you probably didn't see this coming. I mean, with it being a Yamaha and just drawing all my attention over there. I mean, this KTM used to sponsor this show, but they don't anymore. But Yamaha sponsors the show, and for that reason, this Yamaha TTR 125 roosts. What do you think, Johnny?
Looks like a good time.
Okay, you can't say it roosts?
It looks like a good time.
Okay. I'll let you ride one of mine, then you can find out firsthand, but you won't ride it because it's not red. I mean, that bike there, that KTM, it's orange. That one can't roost, can it? Because it's orange?
No way.
Nope. Okay.
No way.
Who was pulling that stunt last week on the show? Who was going? Was it you, or was it you? You were going full red. You only roosted the Hondas.
I
Yep.
forget. It was the 08 CR450.
Yeah, it won and ended up winning. So I hate to say this, Jamie, but your bike's a pretty nice bike. It might roost, but the TTR 125 wins, and Jamie, your son wins Roosterendo this time for the Yamaha TTR 125. We appreciate you playing the game. Send me an email. Let me know how to get you in touch with the Takamoto people. They will send your son a $100 gift certificate. You know, we've had families that, like, dad wins one weekend, and amazingly, his daughter sends in her bike the next week, and it's a really cool bike, and she wins. And then next week, his son, and you see some wording similarities, but they're different bikes, and we find out it's the same dude. So so Jamie Livingston, he's actually in the chat. Thanks for joining in. If you played me like a fiddle by putting that Yamaha in the photo with your KTM because you thought that would work, bad on me for biting. So let's see, we've got a lot of comments and stuff here. Let's see. I have a 23 Sherco 4-stroke. I'll need to replace the odd little chain guide fastener. Okay, let's see. That's Gary. Oh, he's defending his bike from last week. Yeah. Well, Gary, a week too late because the Sherco's pretty blue. I might have bid on that thing too. Man with a gun. What did he say?
Man with a gun. As a fellow old codger and seeing you two together, can Johnny confirm the stories of Jimmy teaching the convenience of E-Start, getting him?
See, I've told this story before.
Motor? Yeah, where Kick was. I confirm it all the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jimmy left me stranded pretty much a lot on hillsides in the mountains. So I was a glutton for punishment.
Dude, it was so much. It was so much fun riding with you because you had no quit. You just wouldn't quit. But sometimes you would throw your bike off a cliff. Remember, we call it Johnny's Leap.
I'd get scared.
Remember Johnny's Leap? It's on that one trail. We didn't have a name for the trail.
Yeah.
And it was at one, it goes down that long side hill and you finish in a wash and you have to do like now it would be nothing like compared to what the Stream Enduro guys, but you had to kind of like, and it was always wet because it was in the north side and you'd come onto slick rock and you have to launch into the thing. And we knew that, because we'd done it before, that you could go and all you had to do is carry a little bit of speed and give it a little bit of blip. You'd even the traction, but Johnny just came out and was like, holy crap, he's got to go race Baja. His he can't get hurt. I'm just a magazine editor, buddy Dave, just like a construction guy. Like we don't care.
MT21.
Yeah, I had an MT21 in the back on Dave's XR400. Dave was a Honda guy back then. So we'd ride down this thing and Johnny came down and he's like, nope, ain't gonna do it. Brand new XR400 just stopped and ghosted off the cliff. Did you crash on it one time and then it was ghost off it every time after?
I just scared. I was gonna.
I know. I think maybe the first time you might have crashed because the same thing I was talking about.
Oh yeah, I bet I slid off the side of it.
And you slide off, and you land in this wash, and there's no room there's no run out. You kind of have to stop, and it's soft sand, and there's a rock down at the bottom that catches you if you don't clear it. It was pretty nuts at the time. It was nuts at the time. But like every time after that, we'd go down there and Johnny, this trail again. He'd get down to the bottom, just get down the bottom, hop off his bike and just send it off and pick it up in the sand. Because if it landed in the sand, nothing would break. So
I always brought a lever or two. I knew better riding with you.
What about clutches? Remember those? Hey, you know what? By that shipping container?
Yeah.
I still find pieces of XR600 clutch. They're in a bag still. There's two, because after that happened, there's two XR600 clutches. If anybody needs an XR600 clutch pack, I've got one.
Yeah.
Or maybe two.
We leave them up there just because I knew better.
It could get hot. I just remember that thing was so freaking hot. You heard the clutch plates popping and snapping. It was in the snow.
Yeah.
We're laying the bike over in the snow. The motor is just incinerating and the clutch plates are popping. And we ended up, what do we stick a rag in that thing or we double spaced some stuff? And we had to get it out of there.
I don't remember, but
Ah,
I don't know,
good
threw
times.
Twigs in it or something.
Yep. Let's see. Street Sweeper says that pick is not fair to Blue Crew.
Yeah, it was. It won.
It won. Just because it has a gold skid plate from BBR on it. By the way, fully recommended.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Tom Van Weber.
TTR 250, amazing bike. Purchased it for my boy, but he wanted to ride my 450X. He's a smart kid. The TTR can do anything, and it's comfy.
I have 2 TTRs for sale, 250s. One's just sitting in the circle garage. It's been there since I found out the battery's dead, and I just got sick of it and left it there. I got some for sale if you want TTR 250s. I got a fleet. Gary,
Probably help his marriage out, too.
let's see. Are the Beta Bruiser boys your desktop pick? He's talking about these guys here. These are the guys that if this guy, this is their buddy here. If I didn't pick their bike, he said they were going to come and roll me. They're from Jersey, so I kind of believed him. So yeah, that's where we're at on this thing. Okay, Jamie Livingston says yes. We've got some more new comments, but yeah, thanks Jamie for playing our little game we call Roosterendo, brought to you by Takamoto. By the way, I was going to bring some Takamoto stuff in here. Takamoto's back in stock on their 3,000 hour KTM fuel pumps. KTM's, Huskies, gas, whatever you need. He sent one out for me because I'm replacing a pump in one of my things, and if I get 3,000 hours out of it, that's probably half the life of my bike. Probably. So, okay, we answered Victor's question. I had another guy. I'm going to read this thing. So everybody, a lot of times I tell you that, you can get a discount code by emailing me for certain things. A lot of our sponsors provide me with discount codes and stuff. If you just say, hey, send me a discount code, I'm going to say, hey, tell me exactly what you want. And then you can't remember what you wanted the discount code for. Like, bro, that doesn't work. Put a little effort into it. So Mike actually told me he says he's thinning down, he's getting in shape, and so his old Climb pants don't fit. I think that's the right direction. I don't think he thickened up, but he went the other direction. But anyways, you have a Climb discount code, and I said, yeah, I got him hooked up, which is really awesome. Climb, a good sponsor of the show. Sometimes they help out our fans. So he says, keep doing your show and publishing it as a podcast. I'm not able to watch it live, but regularly do listen to it when I'm driving around for work. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to not think about my work too, so this show can not mind numb you. I have some great road books for you to try out up here in Washington, Oregon. And this is where it really got interesting because he's texted me a couple different times and sent me some emails. He says, they're written for adventure bike riders for the most part, so lots of roads like you said when Andrew was on your podcast. Maybe not your favorite, but still a lot of fun with some awesome views. Check out www.nwroadbooks.com. So I'm giving him a plug here because I like what he's doing. He basically makes road books that guys can download so you can kind of play with it. Because everybody goes, hey, where do I get road books to practice on? Well, here's it is. So nwroadbooks.com. He says, we'll be providing some road books for the Giant Loop ride coming up this summer starting at Crystal Crane Hot Springs. I have a couple for Giant Loop that are more your style with rough terrain and HP. So I don't like rough terrain. Okay, so just if you think I want to ride through hoop-de-doos,
we've done that.
Yeah, I've exceeded my hoop-de-doo fun level for the rest of my life. So I like technical terrain, but rough, and some HP and things like that. Yeah, I like that. More like he says something called yes, sir. So I don't really like to say that out loud. If you're in that area, let me know, and I can make them available for you to try out. I actually was thinking about trying to go up to the Giant Loop ride. So anyways, he plans on going to the thing we just talked about with his son, Sean. And it's funny. He was the little kid on the Kawasaki down there many years ago. He is 20 now. Hope to see you there. So there was this thing I did, this ride I did, and there was a guy riding with his kid, and he had his kid with a full kitted out road book KLX 125 thing or something, and it was muddy and nasty. He was trying to do it, and I'm like, whoa, that's super cool. This kid was into rally. I don't know if he was into rally, but he's obviously still into rally. 20 years now. I mean, awesome. This kid was like a little, probably like you, Preston. You're just some little rat kid that came around, and I didn't make him do push-ups though. Okay. Yeah, no push-ups for that kid. I just thought it was cool. He was suffering enough. Anyways, he says, good luck with Nora. I wish I had more time off available so I could go ride it. You should make the time available. So, yeah. Thanks, Mike, for doing that. I'm glad you got that Climb discount code. And if you're interested in a discount code from any one of our sponsors or something like that, let me know. I'll reach out and see if I have something. Some of them are really limited. Sometimes there's little special things. And every once in a while, we try to give something away so we can get to 50 million viewers on this show, which we're at 38 million right now. It's how I do my finances, too. So, Gary Drummond, I hope that Yamaha sponsors you with their new In the Works EMC with a clutch. So that's a electric motion. They're combining with electric motion, which is a electric bike manufacturer. Well, I don't know if they'll sponsor me. A lot of times they'll let me test stuff. I just want them to send checks, lots of money. Checks. Any company can sponsor this show, and you just send lots of USD, lots of dollars with zeros on the back, so I can buy more Husabergs. Let's see. Man with a gun.
Without tooting your own horn, are there many trails that carry the JL name? I only know of one.
There's a trail with my name on it?
Yeah, Jerry Lewis.
Yeah, I don't know. So Johnny just...
I gotta make a pit stop.
Johnny didn't even have a tequila. He's got to make a pit stop. But I'm going to sign... Don't leave with the headphones on. I think the show's about over. Or does Preston need to come up? Preston, come on the show real quick. You're going to do a monologue for your buddy, your teammate. You know how when you have to pull the weight for your teammate, kind of like I used to have to do in Baja for Johnny? Yeah. That tequila must have hit me, or mezcal, right? No, you didn't even have any. Preston Campbell, welcome to the show. Stepping in for your dad. He's probably got to go to bed.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me.
List off your sponsors.
JCR Honda, Fly Racing, Pirelli tires.
I like those.
Yeah, those are really good. Pro Circuit, JL Ray. Everyone else, thank you very much.
Everyone else. What about the Jimbo program and Jimmy Lewis off-road training? Where was that in this whole thing?
That's the most important. The Jimbo program's been a big sponsor the last couple of weeks, and
I wish I would have videotaped making you do push-ups on when you stalled your CRF 150 for the 50th time.
Man, I don't want to see those. They're probably bad push-ups.
Oh, you could hardly do them.
I was so tired from riding that I could barely do the push-ups.
Yeah. Anyways, Sarah Price is bringing up a young girl to help navigate with her and stuff, and she had a video of her trying to do push-ups. It's Sadie, who's Jeremy's daughter. Sadie's been out here, and she's an awesome co-driver and learning navigation, driving with Sarah, or navigating for Sarah right now, and she had her doing push-ups, and I just laughing. I'm like, now you like torturing kids. Jimbo program. So, anyways, Preston, it's fun to have you guys hanging out. I'm really bummed that old Nolan couldn't make it in to do his monologue.
I don't know where he's at.
Yeah, he's probably not going to be able to show his face around here. It's going to get. I'm actually. How about if I just follow him around live on Dirt Bike Tests, one of our channels, until he stands up and monologues.
Like Instagram
Live tomorrow?
When he's weed whacking.
Okay, yep. So tomorrow, live on Dirt Bike Test Instagram, you're going to get to see Nolan Kate weed whacking my property or doing a monologue. So with that, everybody, I'd like to thank all of our sponsors. I'd like to thank Johnny Campbell and JCR Honda for coming out and doing the show with me. It's been awesome. I had a great history with riding and racing with Johnny, racing against Johnny, and still to this day, I'm pissed off that he smoked me around Carlsbad on an XR 600 no matter what I rode. It was Preston, it was really painful. So, okay, with that everybody, we will see you out in the trail. Cheers. I'm going to make this show go away. I got to turn off some. If you liked what you saw in this video, come check us out over at dirtbiketest.com on the webs. We have bike tests, product tests, a lot of fresh dirt, and you can even support us by clicking through our links. Hopefully, we'll see you out in the trail.